Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events shaping our world. I'm your host, Walter. Today, we're looking at a pair of stories that highlight the deep divisions in American politics. First, let's turn our attention to the No Kings protest movement, which brought tens of thousands of people to the streets of Minneapolis. The event, headlined by musician Bruce Springsteen, was a rally against President Donald Trump's strongman political leadership and right-wing agenda. Protesters chanted slogans like "No Kings, No ICE, No War," and carried signs calling for an end to immigration raids and the removal of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. The movement has gained momentum in recent months, particularly after federal immigration raids in January resulted in the deaths of two Americans, Renee Good and Alex Pretty. The incident sparked widespread outrage and made Minneapolis a flashpoint in the debate over President Trump's immigration policies. Meanwhile, in other news, Vice President J.D. Vance is walking a tightrope as he navigates the U.S. role in the Middle East conflict while keeping an eye on his potential 2028 presidential bid. Vance has been measured in his comments on the Iran war, focusing on options for depriving Tehran of a nuclear weapon, while Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has taken a more hawkish stance. As the country gears up for the November midterm elections, protesters like those at the No Kings rally are making their voices heard. With soaring oil prices and a contentious immigration debate, many are wondering how these issues will play out at the polls. Will Republicans be able to hold on to their narrow majority in Congress, or will the backlash against President Trump's policies give Democrats an edge? We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into a complex and sensitive topic that's been making headlines around the world. An Israeli footballer, Menashe Zalka, has been seen in a video opening fire in southern Lebanon amidst the U.S.-Israel war on Iran. This footage, verified by Al Jazeera, has sparked outrage among football officials and fans who are now calling for FIFA to take action against him. Zalka, a 35-year-old player for Hapoel Hadera in the Israeli Premier League, is also a reserve in the Israeli Army's paratrooper brigade. The video shows him accompanied by another soldier, firing from a damaged building in a residential area. This incident has raised questions about the intersection of sports and politics, particularly when it comes to conflicts involving military action. On one hand, some argue that Zalka's involvement in the military assault is unacceptable and that FIFA should ban him and the Israeli Football Association. The Palestinian Football Association has reported allegations of discrimination by the IFA to FIFA, which led to a FIFA 0 Swiss francs but no suspension. On the other hand, others point out that Zalka is a reserve in the army and was participating in a military operation. They argue that this is a complex issue, and it's not fair to expect footballers to be held accountable for their actions outside of the sport. As we navigate this story, it's essential to consider multiple perspectives and avoid taking sides. The situation in the Middle East is intricate, with deep-rooted historical and political tensions. It's crucial to approach this topic with empathy and understanding, acknowledging the suffering and concerns of all parties involved. The incident has reignited debates about FIFA's role in addressing human rights issues and its response to conflicts involving member associations. While some critics argue that FIFA has been inconsistent in its handling of similar situations, others believe that the organization is taking steps towards promoting social responsibility and respect for human rights. As we continue to follow this story, we'll provide updates and insights, ensuring a balanced and fair representation of the facts. For now, it's clear that the intersection of sports and politics can be fraught with challenges, and it's up to us to engage in thoughtful discussions and consider the complexities involved. Welcome back to Concrete Block. As we wrap up today's show, let's take a look at the escalating tensions in the Middle East. The conflict between Iran and the U.S. has been ongoing, with both sides engaging in military actions and diplomatic efforts. Recently, Pakistan has emerged as a key player in attempting to broker peace talks between the two nations. According to reports, Pakistani officials have been shuttling between the U.S. and Iranian delegations, trying to find common ground for indirect talks. The country's Prime Minister, Shehbaz Sharif, has also been in contact with the Iranian president, Masoud Pezeshkian, to discuss possible solutions. However, the situation remains complex, with Israel's involvement adding another layer of complexity to the conflict. The U.S. has been building up its military presence in the region, with thousands of troops being deployed to the Middle East. This has raised concerns that the U.S. may not be committed to a peaceful resolution. On the other hand, Iran has stated that it wants a guarantee that the war is over and that there will be no future attacks by the U.S. and Israel. Pakistan's efforts to facilitate talks are driven in part by its own interests, as it has a long border with Iran and a significant Shia Muslim population. The country is also keen to avoid being drawn into the conflict on behalf of its ally, Saudi Arabia. As the situation continues to unfold, it's clear that finding a peaceful resolution will be a challenging task. Both sides will need to make concessions and compromises if they are to reach a mutually acceptable agreement. We'll continue to monitor the situation and bring you updates as more information becomes available. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.